Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Business on the Street, and today we have the distinct honor of talking to Kyle. Kyle, how do you pronounce your last name?
Kmiec.
Kmiec.
Yes.
Okay, I like the CH. And you're with?
I'm with Calvetti Ferguson.
Okay, and Calvetti Ferguson, what do they do?
We're a full-service accounting firm. We have audit, tax, a lot of corporate advisory services. Basically anything that a CPA firm can do, we can do it.
Okay, and you're going to take some of that knowledge and information that you have and you're going to share it with the Woodlands Chamber Organization through a small business university class that's coming up, I believe, on February 28th. The time is 9 to 11, and you're going to talk about how the 2019 tax changes impacted different business structures along with other issues.
Right, yeah, that's correct. So my expertise for Calvetti Ferguson is in the tax area. So I only operate just one piece of what Calvetti Ferguson can do, but I'll focus on, and for the Small Business University, I'm going to focus on some tax items. So that being how the new income tax rules, which actually went into effect in 2018, which now we're filing in 2019, and how that's going to affect businesses around the area.
Well, I suspect, and I'm speaking to the listeners and the viewers of this program, of this Businessman on the Street segment, that a lot of small business people really have no idea of how the changes might impact them. So this sounds like a great opportunity to attend and take an hour or two and really learn what might impact your business.
Absolutely, and it'll be open forum as well, so there'll be plenty of time to ask and answer questions. So I'd really like for anyone to come and ask questions. I'll be prepared to answer them. If I can't get you an answer that day, I'll get you an answer the next couple of days. So
well, you can't beat that.
Right.
It's free advice, so to speak. I'm sure solid, good advice.
Right.
Well, Small Business University, tell us what you know about it.
Okay, well, I'm fairly new to the Small Business University, so I haven't attended a lot of Woodland Chamber events, so I got invited from one of the partners here at Calvetti Ferguson to give a speech about taxes. And I'm putting together that presentation, and I'm happy to do that for them.
Well, and I personally, as a business advisor, mentor, appreciate, because I'm all about education. Mm-hmm. I have found that small businesses in general lack education for a variety of reasons. It's kind of the central theme of my radio program, The Weekly Business Hour. So I appreciate you taking time and for the firm to be interested enough to do this. The Small Business University, I think this is the third segment this year. They have a number of segments throughout the year that folks can attend on a variety of topics. So it's a great opportunity to get that education.
Well, I'm personally excited to work with Small Business University. I've been working with small businesses for about 10 years now in my career. So all advising on taxes and public accounting, all for small business owners and small businesses. So it's exciting for me as well.
Well, it sounds like you're an expert and should know your stuff, right?
I will, yeah, I'll be prepared.
Well, let's talk about in general. I mean, what, in your opinion, what is the biggest change in the tax law that will affect businesses?
I think the number one question I get the most from my clients is related to the qualified business income deduction, which is, people call it the QBI deduction. It's actually Section 199A of the tax code. It never existed before 2018. And it's a deduction that you can get without paying for it. So you pay no cash, and you get a 20% deduction on your taxable income. If it was that simple, I probably wouldn't have a job. So there's ceilings, there's floors, there's exceptions to those exceptions. And I'll go through all of that with you. And it's brand new, so I have put it on just a handful of tax returns so far this year. But it's exciting, and I have done a ton of research on it. So I'm excited to share that information.
Well, it sounds like it's a great opportunity for small business to take advantage of something that I suspect, again, a lot of us in small business don't really know about. Absolutely, based on what you just said. Typical tax law, there's a lot more to it than just the headline.
Absolutely. So who doesn't want to pay tax on 80% of their income rather than 100%? So I think using that deduction and maximizing that benefit is a great step to save some money, keep some dollars in your pockets.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, entity change, that's really the thing that when I talk to people and people on my show or clients, people I work with one-on-one, they're talking. In fact, I have a couple of clients that have been advised to change their entity. Talk to us a little bit or share with us about entity change. Why is that part of this tax law?
Well, it brought around a lot of questions to speak of, where it said, am I in the right tax structure anymore? For example, the corporate income tax rate used to be 35%. Now it got cut to 21%. Well, should I change it in that structure? I want to take advantage of that 14% rate cut. Those are some types of questions I got, especially early on, and I'm prepared to walk through all those steps, the advantages and disadvantages of all types of entities. So I'm really looking forward to going through that in detail.
That seems like that's a major thing too as well, because it used to be, at least when I was owning the businesses I owned and whatnot, you picked your structure and you just stayed with it.
Right.
Because you were a corporation, and then the sub S did a lot of that in my career. Today it sounds like you got to kind of be light on your feet and be willing to change.
Right. Well, in about the 1980s, and this was long before I was practicing, but the IRS kind of got tired of fighting with taxpayers on what kind of business tax structure they should be. So they said, well, why don't you just check the box and you tell us what you want to be? And that new regulation, when that all came out, it became a very flexible topic. What structure could you be in? But I find constantly when I meet with a prospect or a new client for the first time, they often may not even know what tax structure they're in. And if they do, they may be in the wrong one. And that's one of the first things we look at to get them in the most efficient tax structure.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Well, let me ask you, somebody is going to start a business, and I get asked this all the time because I interview or talk to and try to help a lot of folks who are thinking about starting businesses. Quite frankly, about half of them I try to dissuade for a variety of reasons, but a lot of questions from the folks that really are interested and know what they're doing. And one of the questions is going to be accounting and tax, and we've talked about structure. What is the kind of information you would give me if I was thinking about starting a business? What's really important from an accounting perspective?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, people view accounting as a necessary evil and a cost to of doing business. It is nothing, and really, it can provide so much more value than just, oh man, I got to pay my taxes, I got to pay my CPA this year. We can provide so much value. CPAs in general, us at Calvetti Ferguson particularly, we can provide extreme value and related to not just the amount of tax we can save you, but being in the most efficient, guiding your company in a more efficient manner. So there are a lot of things like that. I would advise them, don't just find the cheapest CPA or the cheapest H&R Block or even the TurboTax on-demand CPA that they have now.
Well, I think you make an excellent point there, because one of the things I learned early in my career, I worked in a family business initially, actually was born into a business that grew to be very large all over my time there. And one of the things I was taught and I saw work was consider your CPA, your accountant, as an advisor, not just, as you said, a tax person, but they can give you advice. If you're thinking about doing something in your business, adding a product, expanding, buying your building, whatever it might be, you need to talk to them about advice, not just about taxes.
Right. Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. And in all actuality, we don't want to be just a tax preparer. We're not in the business of being just tax preparers. We really want to be a business advisor, a trusted advisor, and even some of my clients actually call us trusted partners.
Well, one of the things too I see in small business, based on my experience, is numbers, right? Financial statements, information, tax returns. A lot of times small business people don't seem to get not only how important those numbers are, but how useful understanding those numbers can be in planning your business, the things you do to grow and be successful and potentially exit your business. Do you see that very often?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say some of our biggest challenges often are using financial statements only to look backwards. So many times financial statements, they only report what has already happened. And you can use those financial statements in so many ways, and that what will happen or what you can do to be stronger, what you can do to increase the value of your business. Because it's not always just about, hey, let's save money on taxes. It's about growing a business to be the most valuable. Maybe you can pass it on to your kids. Maybe you can sell it for liquidation purposes, whatever you want to do with that business. There's a lot more things than just saving taxes, or paying a minimum amount of taxes.
Well, and again, I believe in education. Do you have any advice, perhaps, based on your experience, that to tell someone how they can better understand, in other words, how to learn about numbers, some ideas of resources or whatnot?
Sure. Certainly using all the resources available to you. So Small Business University is a free resource. Using Calvetti Ferguson or an accounting firm in general, their advice on how you can use that and grow that, how to make the numbers look better. And then in all reality, it takes a lot of hard work. So.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it, but numbers are, in my opinion, one of the three keys to building a successful business is understanding your numbers and using them, like you so wisely said, looking ahead, not just looking back.
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of concludes our interview. Kyle, I appreciate you taking the time. Let's kind of reiterate, you're coming up, what day are you going to do your program?
February 28th.
Okay.
And 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So again, it'll be on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I'll mention and I'll go through all different types of entity and tax structures. And then I'll actually even go into a little bit more detail of what you may see on your own personal 1040 this year. So the 1040 that you've seen for the past 15, 20 years actually looks completely different this year. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. I'll have that at the presentation and we'll go through it practically line by line so you can see some of those major differences.
And I think one of the important aspects, if you didn't pick it up earlier, is there's going to be a question and answer. So if you attend, come with a question. You've got questions about the Tax Act, how it impacts your business, bring those questions, because I assume, based on my experience, that the Q&A sessions will be lively.
Right, I agree. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope they're challenging questions.
Well, folks, you've heard it. You've been challenged. Bring some challenging questions with you and attend this program. If you want more information about the program, go to Woodlands Chamber. That's woodlandschamber.org/SBU. All the information about the program, you can sign up and register. And I encourage you, February 28th, 9 to 11, come out and hear Kyle and learn about how the impact of the 2019 tax changes are going to impact your business. Kyle, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick.
Take care.
OneBestConsult.com, a community of small business owners where you as an owner can find answers to the most pressing business questions you have. Not sure who to turn to when you have a challenge in your business? Turn to the folks at OneBestConsult.com. That's the number one, bestconsult.com, where you can always find advice you can use based on common sense business experience. Join our community of like-minded business owners at OneBestConsult.com.